Hello there. I am Nazrak the Unredeemable, master of my own dungeon, wizard, and powerful at that. I have been asked by the mortal, known as Ian the part-time dungeon master, to do this little interview. And I figured, why not? I've got nothing better to do with my day. But nonetheless, welcome to D20 Sundays. I'll be your host for this evening. So, what type of monsters do I use? Well, it's a very poignant question. I figured maybe he's doing this for some heroes, so that way they can get the upper hand at my dungeon when they come by. Well, joke's on you. I'm not giving you all the secrets. No, I'll just tell you a few. I guess I'll give you the first couple of levels. How about that sounds? So the first level of my dungeon, we have both goblins and kobolds. The goblins will lure you into the traps by attacking you first, and the traps are sent up by the kobolds. And of course, good thing for morale, make sure the goblins and kobolds know that they're being treated equally. They have the same cafeteria, but separate living quarters. I've got a dragonborn over the kobolds and a hobgoblin over the goblins. They help keep things in order. But yes, it's very key that you use them in tandem together. And it's, how to say, challenging at times. I would send a messenger they killed, and I kind of needed that messenger. Mostly because finding a good messenger is hard these days. But apparently the term, well, how's it said, don't shoot the messenger, just doesn't translate well for some reason. Thinking it's a cultural thing. But after them, I have ogres. Yes, ogres. No one really likes the ogres. I don't know why. The women are quite large and voluptuous. Don't judge me! But yes. Ogres. Ogres, yes. They are very useful, very cruel, very evil, and I do enjoy the simplicity of them. They are not very bright, but they are strong, and they're able to crush a man with the brick alone. What's not to like about that? Why use magic when sometimes a simple brick can solve a problem? And of course, sometimes with them they have pets. I gave them the pets of the Abyssal Wretches. They're not very bright, very useful for a lot of things, except for maybe driving a few people crazy, but the Abyssal Wretches do nicely as pets to the ogres, mostly because, well, they're just as twisted and demented. So they work perfectly together. Let's see, what else? Oh, I also have a few Shadakai and Darklings. I don't really know that much about them, unfortunately. Part of the reason being is they tend to be very seclusive in their sections of the dungeon. They do talk every now and then, and, that's very good, great for morale. But they don't really share with anyone not of their kind, and that's just kind of who it is. But they do have great wine. I love their wine. And the women is very voluptuous. Right. But yes, the Shadakai and the Darklings, both top-notch. Cannot suggest better henchmen. Also, I have a few hags. Oh, hags. Now, they're tricksy folk. The things about tricksy folk, such as hags, is that you have to be careful. They use illusions and charms and things, never to be taken lightly. Fraternized with on a Saturday night with a bottle of Chardonnay, definitely, but never taken lightly. So, keep that in mind. I keep a few because, well, they're good at magic, and, every now and then they're great for a conversation and a bottle of wine. Don't judge me. At least I'm not like Arnold. Arnold, I really think that you should try and, I don't know, get out a bit more.
Why would I ever want to leave? It's like having a dungeon filled with sentient
Shut
lube.
up, Arnold. We don't talk about Arnold. Let's see, what else do I have? Oh yes, I have this one section of the dungeon that got flooded in. Apparently, one of the walls caved in, and turns out there was like a lot of water behind the wall. It just kind of flooded in about an 80 by 60 area, and it's like it's kind of like a swamp in here now. So I started growing, a lot of swamp alchemical ingredients, like fungal pods and so on. And I was like, this is great and all, but this is a very large area that I need secured, so I got some bender hops. And, bender hops, they work pretty well in the swampy area. They're giant toad people with teeth. And, the one female chieftain they have is, real, treat. Really like to get to know her a bit more. She has this one way that she... Don't judge me! Anyways, on to the next ones. I have a few Ammonites that patrol the halls. They're a little stronger than the rest of my minions, but they're not as strong as my secret weapons that are further into my dungeon. But they do well for patrolling the halls and the rooms, because you never know when one room might need backup, as well as, well, they're pretty good at catching people trying to sneak around, so there's that. Let me think. Do I want to tell you any more? No, I don't think I do. I guess one thing I should tell you, for those of you who are aspiring to be villains and great powerful wizards like me, is that if you're going to be having a dungeon, variety is very key. And the reason why variety is key, because if you have just let's just say you have an army of goblins, well, yes, you can always get more goblins. They're easy to replace. But the problem is, if you run into a group that's, say, really good at killing goblins, well, I'm sure you could see how bad that would be for you. And say you're a necromancer and you only use undead, because there's dead everywhere, Like, oh, yeah, very fair point. Could always find more dead. But, what happens when you run against a group that's made for fighting undead? You're in trouble, aren't you? Well, that's one of the reasons why I suggest variety. Next thing is morale. You want to make sure that each living area for your variety of monsters is created in a way that suits them the best. For the goblins, you just kind of like throw a bunch of junk in there and they'll make it their own. For the kobolds, throw some leather, some bones, and, they'll spruce the place up pretty well. For the hags, bring them some food every now and then, some stuff to make, nests, and, they'll tell you what they need. For the bender hubs, just have a swampy area. They really like that. They'll make everything else themselves. Sure, check in on them every now and then, see if they need anything. Think of them as tenants, okay? Think of, you're the landlord for the dungeon, and you're going around to each room to make sure that, one, your tenants are paying their rent, and two, that everything that the tenants need is met, because it's your job as the landlord to make sure that their needs are met. This works very well. It keeps morale up, and then it makes them feel like that you really care for them. And sometimes, they can't really pay rent, so they find other ways of pleasing you. And, don't judge me. You know what? Fuck you. Stop judging me. Get out. I'm done. No more. I'm done with this.